Okay, hello everyone. I kind of had some technical difficulties earlier today. As a few of you may know, is I had a video already recorded, and then there was some things that just kind of went amok on it. I'm having trouble uploading pictures in the background. I'm not sure why, but I will try to figure that out eventually. But welcome to my program. Today is Groundhog Day. As anybody from Pennsylvania would know, Groundhog Day happens every February 2nd. That's actually like 6 weeks before spring. The legend around the groundhog is on 7 o'clock in the morning on February 2nd, the Inner Circle, which is a group of men in top hats, they pull Punxsutawney Phil out of his burrow. And if he sees his shadow, we're going to get 6 more weeks of winter like weather. But if he doesn't see his shadow, then we're going to get 6 weeks of spring like, so an early spring. Regardless, spring's 6 weeks away, anyhow. So there's a lot of misconception on that, but that's the whole thing with Groundhog Day. Today the temperature is 36 here in Pennsylvania. It feels like 36 right now, and but we are under winter weather advisory until Monday at midnight. So up until midnight, we're under winter weather advisory. We're having some like rain and mixture of stuff. Roads are getting a little slick. They're out there salting them. So regardless, that is what's kind of going on. And today, we're going to invite you to a show. It's called The Mysterious and Intriguing Life and Death of Aleister Crowley. I've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. Well, probably a week, 2 weeks. Just never got a chance to do it. Had done a lot of research. Like I said, I did post a video earlier, but it kind of got flubbed up. So, with that being said, let's go into the history of Aleister Crowley. What I can do maybe is pull up some images on my phone and kind of show it that way until I can figure. I do the present. I'm using StreamYard. I go on present, try to bring it up, but for some reason, I'm not real tech savvy. I got to show somebody that can actually have me and help me maneuver it around rather easily. So, for those of you who don't know, Aleister Crowley is a known occultist. He's a British occultist, writer, ceremonial magician, poet, novelist, painter, and mountaineer who is a self proclaimed practitioner of magic and who referred himself as the Beast 666. And there is a story behind that and kind of like ties in a lot of things and explains a lot of things here at the end. Um, Magic, now, when he started practicing magic, he went with the old version of magic, which was spelled different. And that kind of went more towards the occult part of it. Um, it instead of being spelled Magic, it's spelled Magick. Now, occult. Let's get this right out of the way at the beginning. A lot of people think occult and cults are the same thing. They're not. Occult is the practice of dark magic, usually involving tarot cards, seances, portals, messing with portals, the darker side of it. Some people think it's just strictly Satanism. It can go in that direction, but all people that practice the occult are not Satan worshipers and delve that deep into it. Um, it can lean that way, but again, everybody's not that way. And usually, people that involve in a cult, they probably were of a religious background at one point, but somewhere along the line, they kind of swayed from their religious upbringings and went towards the world of the occult. Now, cults, on the other hand, usually involves somebody, a leader that proclaims to have spoken with God and has trying to preach the word of God and attracts a whole group of people as the followers, and usually that pertains to somebody that's very highly religious. And like I said, they feel that they have that closer connection with God, and that's how they kind of, I'm going to say, lure them in and get them involved in their group. So back to Crowley. Um, associated, there's a lot of musicians that right now, modern day. Now, when I mean modern day, I mean like in the 1900s on, um, are felt to be associated with either Crowley in dark magic practices or just some of his teachings, rumors of making pacts with the devil at crossroads, different areas like that. Some of the musicians that we know of today that are associated with the Crowley name and teachings is Sammy Davis Jr., Lady Gaga, Marilyn Manson, Ice Spice, Madonna, Lil Nas X, Doja Cat, Sam Smith. I had a couple other ones here. Of course, we have, they're associating the Beatles, and there was one other one here on the very back. The Beatles, and let me get here. Don't pay attention to me. I have it in here somewhere. I'll pull it up. The Beatles, and there was another one. Among them is Led Zeppelin's lead singer, or lead player, Jimmy Page. Page always had a fascination with Crowley, and he even actually bought Crowley's former home in, it was called the Boleskine House, or Boleskine, I don't know how you pronounce it, and he incorporated occult themes into his music and imagery. So everybody should know pretty much Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. David Bowie was another one. During the 70s, he was influenced by Crowley, so they said, and used his ideas and imagery in his music. Ozzy Osbourne, of course, we all know there's been so much controversy around Ozzy for all these years, as well as the rock metal group Kiss, where they were supposed to be practicing satanic rituals, and their records and albums have subliminal messages and all that. And of course, Ozzy with biting the head off a bat and all that stuff surrounding him. He's supposed to be of course, he's the lead singer of Black Sabbath. Their music often reflected themes associated with the occult when led to their possible involvement with the teaching of Crowley. His influence can be seen in their lyrics and artwork. So he does put a lot of like occultish type imagery in a lot of his artwork and everything in that. And he also references Crowley, Mr. Crowley, his song. Many believe that that song was actually about Aleister Crowley. So, and then we got Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan was said to have made a pact with the devil. They said that he met a demon at a crossroad, made his pact, and that one of his songs called Crossroads is supposed to be about that meeting where he hinted with a demon in that song to make a pact with the devil. Let me see here. I thought I had a couple. We have Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde was an Anglo-Irish poet, playwright, and novelist, and he became a celebrity in the late 19th century London. Had a lot of association with the teachings of Crowley. Um, in 1895, Oscar Wilde was convicted of gross indecency and was sentenced to 2 years of hard labor. This had a chilling effect on public expression of same sex desire, right at the same time when Crowley, on Christmas break in Stockholm, discovered that his robust sexual appetite included the taste for having sex with the same with other men. So again, you can see where all these people tied in. There was another guy, his famous, he was Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons, I'm going to pull it up on my phone real quick. I did save a real quick thing on. Jack Parson was an American rocket engineer, chemist, and themalite occultist. Parsons was one of the principal founders of both Jet Propulsion Laboratory and Aerojet Engineering Corporation. He actually became famous. He studied the teachings of Crowley, and he actually invented jet fuel that was used by NASA. So that was one of the things surrounding him, which like he became so famous so quick that kind of put big question marks. Did he dabble with the devil? Did he not dabble with the devil? And all that glorious stuff. I had a picture here. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. Maybe I can do it this way for Aleister Crowley for you so you can see what he actually looks like until I can figure out why my computer is not allowing me to pull up these images. I'm going to kind of have to do it the stupid and hard way, which is pain in the butt. But let me see what I can find for you on a picture of Aleister Crowley. This is showing. Okay, let me see. I had this picture, so I don't know if you can see. Let's see. There is Aleister Crowley. And that was more, of course, when he was older. I hate having to do it this way, guys. I do apologize until I can figure out why my computer's not letting me. Gabriella did show me earlier how to use their present button, but when I do that, it says it cannot import or cannot show something was wrong with it. So I'll figure it out. I'll dibble dabble around with it and I'll figure it out. So um, Crowley was born in 1812, 1875, 1812, October 12th, not 1812, in 1875 in Royal Learnington Spa, United Kingdom. His birth name was Edward Alexander Crowley. His father was an heir to a brewing fortune, which Crowley later inherited a third of it, and they were evangelists. Now, from what I was reading, they said he was Puritan Quaker. So I have to get some more confirmation on that, do a little bit more cross research, but we'll see what we can find. Um, they were very devout with their religion. His father was very, very, very stern and strict on his religion, and he wanted his family to follow. And as a youngster, Crowley knew that, so he devoted himself to Christianity to impress his father. Now, at the age of 11, when Crowley was 11, his father died. After his father died, he swayed away from that Christianity and he kind of started defying Christianity openly. And that was a big part of his youth. He didn't really want to deal with Christianity at that point. And his mother started seeing these changes in him, and she started calling him the Beast. And she also had another nickname for him, Alec or Alec, Alik, which kind of, when you're kind of looking at that and you're being raised a certain way, and I'm going to use the word indoctrinated, you're being indoctrinated and you're being told this is the way you're supposed to live, and then you start swaying out of that, and your mother sees changes, and then she starts calling you, hey, you're the beast and you're Alec. You kind of are not going to be too keen on staying in that religion. I mean, I'm not saying the mother's the fault, but it surely didn't help that she could see his changes, but instead of trying to help and talk with him, calling names probably certainly didn't go in the direction that it should have and helping him maybe sway away from going in that direction. Although I know a lot of people that mess with the occult a little bit. They do tarot cards and that, and they're not bad people. I mean, I don't look at them and say, "Hey, you're a Satanist and you're practicing in devil worship." It's just some people they have that fascination, and like I said again, that doesn't mean that they're conjuring up spirits and doing all this weird stuff. It means that their interest is piqued, and a lot of us, especially as paranormal investigators, are curious of how we can contact the other side. So the occult, possible way to do it. Um, Aleister took on the name of Aleister when he was 20. He severed all of his ties with his family and he's changed his name um, because his mother kept on calling him Alec and the Beast. And he declared himself um, Aleister at that time, which was the Gaelic origin of the name Alexander. So after he changed his name, he enrolled in Cambridge University. While there, he remained he led a very respectable life. Everybody, he had a lot of respect from people. He kind of was doing his own thing. Um, but on the side, he began to delve into the occult. And nobody really knew that. He kind of kept that to the side because he wanted to keep his reputable reputation, um, which was kind of redundant. But that's me. But you know what I'm saying. But he would then leave Cambridge to seek a career in writing and occult literature. It was also around this period of time when he would travel extensively, even taking up mountain climbing and trying to scale the top of different mountains like K2. Now, he did do many attempts with K2 mountain climbing, none was successful, but there was supposed to be a crew that went up there, one of his teams, and I believe, and I could be wrong, I'm going to have to do a little bit deeper research, that a couple of the people that tried scaling the peak did lose their lives from some of those attempts. Let's see. Yeah, there was the death of a fellow mountaineer, which is a later story. He started to use the old spelling of magic during this period of time with the K again to identify the occult magic of his own religion that he created. He named it the Lima. It's Thelema, in which he went on to establish the Abbey of Thelema, whose headquarters were in Italy following World War One before he was expelled from the country in 1923, which that's a whole other area there. Let's go into the religion of Thelema. It helped him to identify himself as a prophet entrusted with guiding humanity into the eon of homes in early 20th century. This religion is what brought the idea of his techniques to modern day musicians, even including the Beatles and Elvis. Elvis was the other one that I was trying to think of. I knew there was, which they said his fame kind of skyrocketed pretty fast too. So, but there's always been controversy around a lot of these musicians that make it famous real quick. Now, during World War One, for a short time, he did move to the United States and took up residency in the United States, where he contributed to the German newspaper called The Fatherland. In 1898, he joined the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which was an organization derived from Rosicrucians on a visit to Egypt in 1904, where he reported a mystical experience and wrote Book of Law as a prose poem. His claim was that it was dictated to him by a discarnate called, I guess it's Iwas, could be Awas, Aiwass. That is how he came up with his famous quote and teachings. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. This sentiment was used more than 300 years earlier, though, by French author Francois Rabelais in Gargantua and Pantagruel, but Crowley made it his own on the basis of his new Thelema religion. His Book of Law was accepted as scripture by the Order Templi Orientis, mythical group of German origin. So it kind of explains a lot of things where he took up this this quote and this religion because he said he had this mythical experience. That's probably what happened to that Francois. He probably claims to have the same experience. he made that those claims, and then Crowley, of course, upon his ventures, claims to have had the same experience, and he adapted it into his own religion. When he moved back to Italy, he wrote The Diary of a Drug Fiend, 1922, which was a novel claimed to be based on a personal experience. So he seemed to have had a lot of personal experiences with these mythical and magical, mysterious incidences. I got a head in the background, Scabrella, that kind of drew him on his way to which route that he was going to encounter. Um, a young follower died allegedly after participating in some sacrilegious rituals, which then led to his denouncement in the British popular press as they claimed he was the wickedest man in the world. This led to his expulsion then in 1923. And then, as we went back earlier, I said I'd explain later. That's what happened. After exhausting all of his inheritance on travel and such, he moved back to England in the 1930s. Now, the funny thing about Crowley, well, it's not really funny, but like a lot of people, you get artists, you get poets, you get writers, Crowley. A lot of these people, they were known when they were alive, but it seems like after their death is when their fame rose incredibly. Crowley was one of them. He died on December 1st, 1947, at the age of 72 of bronchitis. He died of poverty, but his fame rose after his death. His teachings and practices became more famous, which piqued the followers of our modern day musicians. That was more than he ever achieved when he was alive. Yes. Hi. I'm trying to import these pictures here, and I go on invite and present, and it says that they can't be brought in. I can pick them up, I can pull them up, but it says that it can't. What do you mean? When I do present, to pull up an image, like Crowley's picture, I'll go and get the image. I'll try to present it, pull it up, but it says it can't be pulled up. So wait, let me finish this and I'll have you maybe help me. And I got an itchy ear for a second, so maybe you can sneak over here and help me pull up a couple of these images. Okay, part of his legacy was including his old set of tarot cards. So he actually created his tarot cards. And from what I read, Crowley did have children. He had, why is my ear now all of a sudden feels clogged? From what I read, that he was a breeder. He had a lot of children. I guess he had children all over, and they were illegitimate. And they said, I guess, five that they had recorded. But part of his legacy included tarot cards, which I guess I'm gonna have to confirm it, that some of the, tarot cards actually kind of had images or imagery of some of his children, especially his daughter, Lilith. Um, his tarot cards were called the Crowley Thoth Tarot, and a drawing of Lamb, who was an extra-dimensional being he claimed to contact while doing experiments with portals. That is around the time he adopted the famous saying, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." So that was that saying from before, which was the cornerstone of his new religion. When he abandoned Cambridge and went to London, he composed Jephthah, a verse tragedy. Now let me die, at last desired, at last beloved, for there my queen. Now let me die with blood attired, thy servant naked and obscene. To thy white skull, thy palms, thy feet, clinging dead, infamous, complete. So that was called Jephthah. That was a verse tragedy that he composed. Now, let me see. Oscar Wilde, I think I did say that before, but I'll say it again. In 1895, Oscar Wilde was convicted of gross indecency and was sentenced to 2 years hard labor. I believe that I read that before. Some of the other celebrities, let's see, I think I had. Where's it at? Bob Dylan. Yeah, I covered all the celebrities and everything. Now let me go here because his children, from what I was reading, and I did save it on here because I was updating some of the information that I had earlier. And I know I'm kind of all around on here, um, but I'm going to try to pull up some of the newer stuff that I did find. Let's see. He was born October 12th, 1875, as Edward Alexander Crowley, which we know. His father was Edward Crowley, a wealthy brewer who became an evangelist for the Plymouth Brethren. His mother was Emily Bertha Bishop, and she was also a member of a prominent family. Um, he attended an evangel- he attended an evangelical boarding home in Hastings, and then EBOR Preparatory School in Cambridge. He developed an aversion to Christianity after realizing inconsistencies in the Bible, and especially after the death of his father when he was only 11 years old. Let's go here. I know I found. Okay, he was reported to have 5 children. Aleister Crowley, 1875 to 1947, had many children, including Anne Leah Crowley was one of his children, Lola Zaza Crowley, Nuit Crowley, and that's Nuit. So if I mispronounce, call me out on it. I'm okay with that. Aleister Ataturk Crowley, which was one of his children from Cornwall, Nuit Ma Ahathor Hecate Sappho Jezebel Lilith Crowley. Whoa, that was another one of his children. Let me see. Crowley was a British occultist. He was married twice. First to Rose Edith Cowley from 1903 to 1909, and then to Maria Teresa Sanchez in 1929. Most of his children were illegitimate, which I kind of thought. His legacy, of course, was his tarot cards and his 1944 book, The Book of Thoth. And let's see what we got here. I have youth pictures of him. I don't know, like, again, I don't know if we can see some there. I hate doing this way, but for some reason I cannot get them up. Gabriella will help her poor old mama here and try to figure out why it's not showing for me. See, this is what I'm talking about, Gabriella. I know, okay, I don't really want to, but if I go into present and this is all the options they give me, if I go up to slides and PDFs, it won't bring up anything. If I go into video file, I can pull up Crowley's picture, but when I click on it to open it to put it up here, it says it can't do it.
Well, it says it's not a video.
Well, I know, but how else am I supposed to find it?
Go to share screen.
Okay.
Share screen. What you could do is you could do a Chrome tab, a
Okay.
window, or the entire screen. The entire screen kind of like tunnels every single, like this single page. It tunnels all of it like a mirror.
Okay, so which is the best way to go? Window and try to. Okay, so bear with me because this is my first video like this, and we're gonna see. Now that's what, entire screen or window?
No, this window. This is entire screen, which would show literally everything.
Okay.
Window is, I think, just this. And then Chrome, you would have to go out. It's still recording you, so don't worry.
So she's gonna try to pull up, say like a photo. Yeah, just do that. So bear with us. We're just still playing around.
Okay. go into this and share.
Okay, so those are the pictures of young Crowley. So now how do I get out of it? I just down here click out of this.
Yeah, you can go down here and press
Remove. And then what if I want to add the picture of regular Crowley?
Then you just go back up to here, type in
just Aleister Crowley.
And then there it is. So
okay.
You don't click anything. But you come back here, go back to add stage.
Okay. And so can I click on that, make it bigger or no? Okay. So you're seeing some of the pictures now. I'm going to have to play around with it. The good thing is, I mean, this is being recorded. I got to upload it. And
you can try to do this, though. That might make it a little bit better.
Yeah, see, I was experimenting with it before, but it was just saying that it wouldn't bring it up. So I just got to figure. So you'll have to maybe a couple times for the first couple times until I can get used to maneuver around, pop in.
Text me and be like,
but
I need help.
So that's kind of like the pictures of Crowley when he was older, the pictures of Crowley when he was younger. There's a lot more on Aleister Crowley, like, and dabbling into the occult again. If I say anything, I'm not trying to offend anybody that may be in the occult in any way or anything. I'm not trying to. I'm just reporting on his history. But again, the occult more kind of goes on the darker side of magic, whereas cult members are more religious and stuff. But just because you're dabbling in a cult doesn't mean you're a bad person or you're evil or you're trying to conjure up the devil. Now, Aleister Crowley, on the other hand, apparently from some of the things that I have read, which I can do a future show, does show that he may have dabbled to the point where he actually might have made a pact with the devil. That was some of the areas that I read, but nothing concrete that I have found yet. So we will try to touch base with this a little bit further in the future. But that was my updated one. The one that I had earlier was just all messed up. I am stammering and everything on here, but it's my first to try to get me in my comfort zone of being up in front of a camera solo, which although I have Gabriella help me, we'll do this. Of course, you're going to see me messing with my new toy my hubby got me over Christmas. So, I mean, I got all these cool little gadgets on here, and I will be playing around with them. Excuse me. But with that being said, I'm going to call it a wrap. I do appreciate all of you coming on and joining in. Please, oh, and I do want to clarify something. I guess there's been, I don't know how it came about, but if you see Cash App on my YouTube or Real Talk or Lurking Spirits, we're not trying to ask and solicit money or anything. We like doing a lot of investigations. We can't go real well-known places. We did talk about this on Lurking Spirits and also on mine and Gabriella's Real Talk, Pixies and Fairies. We welcome donations if you want to try to see us get some of those places, but we're not soliciting. We're not out for the money. I do this just to try to get me out of my shell. Gabriella and I do Real Talk just because we enjoy it and we like entertaining you. And of course, Lurking Spirits. That's our field. We love investigating. We love showing you these exciting places we go. And in a way, yeah, we're not getting to like Hinsdale House or Crescent Sanatorium yet. Some of these bigger name places, we're not getting there yet, which is on our bucket list, Salem, Massachusetts. But some of these places that we're going that are haunted, we're going to give them a little bit of notoriety because not too many people know about them. So it's kind of helping us out with an investigation, but it's helping the business with a little bit of notoriety, which we have a couple coming up. We definitely have two. personal home one again and the Johnston house again. And then I am seeking to try to get another place on top of that. And we're going to try to keep our weekends filled with investigations. But with that being said, instead of me rambling on and on and on and on, I appreciate all my viewers. Please tune in. Hit that like, subscribe button. If you're really enjoying this, show me your love. Also, push the notification bell so that you know that I'm coming on. Again, I'm not out for making a million subscribers to make money. I just there that I see that you appreciate me and that you're sending me your love and your support. So with that being said, I'm going to end like I normally do. Until next time, I'll catch you on the other side. There you go. Love you guys. Bye.